Okay, moving on to upcoming film and TV that we're excited for. Number one, Roadhouse. Hey, fellas. if you seen the Roadhouse,
That's not coming out in cinemas, I don't think, by the way.
it's Prime Video.
Yeah, but so I think the director of that is Doug Liman, who directed Bourne Identity, Edge of Tomorrow, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, if I remember right. And he's just come out and done a piece against Amazon and said, you stated that you are going to be committed to the theatrical release and releasing, I think, 12 films a year. And this film was made for the big screen. And now you're telling me that it's not going to get a theatrical release. So I think that's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a
Cinema
movie,
type
yeah.
film. Yeah, it's the one, like, I think we were having this chat before where I'm not the sort of person that goes to the cinema for every film.
Yeah.
I'm interested in a variety of films, but I wouldn't necessarily fork out for a cinema ticket. But Roadhouse is probably one where if I'm looking for a bit of mindless fun, you don't have to think too hard about it.
It's not going to be a crazy story or anything.
Yeah. And you're
a
looking
remake,
for a
isn't it?
good time. Yeah. I think Patrick Swayze did the original.
Conor McGregor in it.
Yeah.
That should be fun.
I think and that'd be interesting. But yeah, no.
It looks like fun. It looks like fun.
Yeah, it looks like a.
It doesn't look too serious or anything like that. Next one, Argyle.
I'm not hearing great stuff about it.
No, I've only seen the trailer once, I think, and it looked weird. Like they're telling a story and then they're doing a story as well.
Yeah, but Matthew Vaughn's like that, isn't it? Like Kingsman isn't a conventional.
Yeah, but Kingsman was like, yeah, true. Actually, it's not like a conventional type film.
Yeah, so I would say it's something that I'm interested in watching. And sometimes you get those movies where everyone's like panning it, and then you're like, okay, and you put it on, and you're like, actually, surprisingly, I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So it's got Henry Cavill. I like him. Generally like his films. It's got Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
Generally like that. I watched Moon the other day, by the way. If you haven't watched that, that's a good film.
I've heard of Moon.
Yeah.
But isn't that a bit slow for you?
I like all sorts of films. I'm just like...
Yeah, but... Oh, okay.
A film can be slow in terms of like the storyline or like not much is happening, but it needs to be moving forward. There needs to be a certain pace and you need to be prepared to like sit through that.
Yeah.
But if you're watching like an action adventure and it's taken like 20 minutes to get onto the main storyline, that's where I have a bit of an issue. But yeah, back to Argyle.
I wouldn't watch it in cinema, Argyle. I'll probably watch it when it comes out down the line.
Yeah, well, especially since I've heard like negative stuff, I'm not risking a cinema ticket for that.
Yeah, not a fan of going to the cinema to watch it. Deadpool 3.
Deadpool 3.
That's...
I'm hoping it's going to be the one that gets Marvel back on track. I've been disappointed with Marvel Phase 4 and 5.
Yeah, it hasn't been great.
The fact that we haven't really had... I think you can split Marvel 1, 2 and 3 into definitive, phases. Phase 4 and 5 kind of blended into one, and it was just a mishmash of everything. So I'm really hoping that Deadpool 3 is the one to get them back. And even if it's not like it doesn't contribute to the main storyline, I think it'll still be a good time. Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and I like the fact that they're bringing back the animated costume for Wolverine.
When I saw the costume, I was like, I was surprised they didn't do it before though, considering how many X-Men's and...
If you think about like the
Wolverines
tone that they had, I don't know if a bright yellow and blue costume fits Hugh Jackman growling.
Yeah.
But obviously they're going to take like a different take.
The costume's meant to be sleeveless as well though. But he's got, he had skin cancer or something, didn't he? Hugh Jackman. So that to cover his arms.
Isn't it?
I think so.
I know he's had skin like cancers from his nose removed before, but I don't.
I think that's why they went full sleeve with the thing, with the costume. Because in the comics, it's just cutting it as a vest type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they finished wrapping like the other week maybe. So super excited to watch that.
Yep.
Kung Fu Panda 4, one of my favourite animated films or franchises.
I'm not gonna go see it in the cinema, but yeah,
I might see it in cinema.
I like 1 and 2. I think
I think 2 is better.
2 definitely had a lot more heart to it. I loved um, the fact that they were bringing in Poe's family. 3 was a bit hit and miss.
Was 2 Poe's family?
Yeah.
Was it the scene where he's in the water and he's like,
Yeah.
is it was it a duck or seagull? Is the bad guy?
I wasn't a seagull. I want to say he was
He's a goose.
Yeah.
A swan.
No, he was a peacock.
Well, not a peacock.
He was. Gary Oldman.
Peacock.
Yeah, because his
It was a
his
bird
tail
of some
like-
sort.
His tail like fans out,
It
and
was like a turkey or something.
no, it wasn't a
I
turkey.
don't know what it was. It was something.
But yeah, Kung Fu Panda 4, I think, yeah, looks good.
It doesn't look great. When I saw the trailer, it doesn't look great, as in like the story they're going with. Because they're trying to run with the thing that, he's
Back from the Past or something.
like the Dragon Warrior, and then he's trying to move that title onto someone else,
Oh, right.
train someone else. But then Tai Lung comes back, and
I don't think it's Tai Lung.
it's not Tai Lung, but he
Someone impersonates
someone's like,
all
he's trying to
his,
get that, his attributes and things like that. But yeah, it looks good. I'll probably watch it in cinema. Next up, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Oh, sorry. So
What?
Deadpool 3 was one of my most anticipated until I saw the trailer for this.
Oh, right.
I absolutely love Guy Ritchie. I
yeah.
think he's got a great unique style of storytelling. And the trailer looks
Trailer looks good.
looks bombastic. Again, Henry Cavill, and he looks like he's doing something a bit weird.
It looks a bit weird when he's smiling. Stop doing that.
A little bit like a maniac, but I love it. It's got Alan Richardson
Yeah.
in it from Reacher.
Reacher.
And there's a few other faces in there. I can't remember off the top of my head now, but it looks good.
Yeah.
That's probably my most anticipated.
Yeah. Story looks like decent as well. As in like a secret organization.
Yeah. I think it was the first secret organization, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh,
Or outfit or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
During World War II or something.
Yeah, super excited about that. Iron Claw comes out soon.
Yeah, I think it's already been released in America.
Yeah.
I don't understand why there's such a big difference between the release dates, theatrical release dates, between the States and here on certain films. It's one of those films that I'm interested in watching, but I probably wouldn't go to the cinema. But yeah, I've heard good stuff. And
Based on a true story, right?
yeah,
Three
tragic
brothers, wrestlers,
story. Yeah, well, a family of wrestlers,
family wrestlers.
and I think a few of them committed suicide because of the pressures of growing up in that household and whatnot. But yeah, like I said, heard good stuff.
Looks like
I'm surprised it didn't get more Oscar buzz. Like I didn't hear Zac Efron or Jeremy Allen White getting a nomination.
for it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not that kind of. There's certain films that you think of that are.
I think for the Golden Globes, it got quite a lot of recognition, but then I don't think it got. I might be wrong, but
He got a Hollywood star, Zac Efron, like recently.
he did indeed.
High School Musical was his best film.
No. Well, I like High School Musical, but wasn't his best film.
And then I'll put Craven the Hunter as well, because I'm actually looking forward to it. No?
Just Sony, stop with this crap. Isn't Madam Web also coming out?
Yeah, I'm not bothering with that. It doesn't look good at all. Craven the Hunter looks decent.
No, it looks like a knockoff Spider-Man. A lion bites him and he gets lion hunter powers. Stop it.
No, but it looks alright. The thing I don't get is why are you using Aaron Taylor Johnson again? He was Quicksilver.
I don't mind that because they're not in the same sort of universe.
I get it, but like, why you could use so many. You got Russell Crowe as well, who was in Thor. Like, just use different people.
He was in Thor. He was in Superman.
And Superman, yeah.
Man of Steel.
But this, it gives like Morbius vibes to it.
So this is my problem, right? I like the characters, but I don't like what they've done in terms of the film, and it feels like a cash grab. I'm not a huge fan of Venom Like the films were bad. I don't know how it made so much money. I don't know why they made a second one. I don't even know why they're making a third one. They made Morbius. The trailer looked good.
Mm.
I was interested by the trailer, but the film was terrible. They made, what else did they do? Is that it? That they released?
No, I was gonna say Carnage, but that was Venom.
I think that's it.
There might be others, but I can't remember.
Well, so they've made a Madam Web one and they've made a Craven, and they don't look great. Like even the trailers look bad. So you need to stop it.
Mm.
You need to stop it.
The Spider-Man game, Spider-Man 2.
I haven't played
So-
Spider-Man 2. I played the first one.
Well, anyway, the villain's Craven in it. And,
Yeah.
like the story looked good from what I saw.
Do you feel like they've done that because they're trying to tie in with the
I think
game?
they're trying
and,
to-
like just
I mean, it makes sense. They're trying to tie in like everything, not everything, but like they're trying to streamline everything towards Craven or like.
So my issue with that is if you go down a certain road
Hmm.
and it doesn't pay off in one avenue, so for example gaming,
Yeah.
but now you've committed to a theatrical release or a TV show,
Mm.
you're now stuck. So I don't think games necessarily have to follow the films and vice versa. I don't think they have to be connected. Obviously you're going to have the same characters, but I'm not a huge... I think that's part of the issue with the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now, that everything is supposed to be in this one world and there's too much where, okay, we've now committed to doing this, but now I want to do this, and it kind of contradicts what we've done
What we've
before.
done, yeah.
So let's just turn a blind eye to it, or let's not address it. So yeah, I think I've heard also that James Gunn and Peter Safran in the DC role, they're trying to align film, TV, and gaming, and I'm just a bit cautious.
All three.
Yeah, so I'm just a bit, and also the projects they've announced on that, I'm not. It doesn't get me
You're
buzzing
not
for it.
convinced, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of like the DC universe. I'm a fan of their characters, but yeah, I don't really care about Creature Commandos or the Authority. Who the hell are they?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so back to the point. I think they're trying to align film and gaming, and I think it's just a bit of a risky maneuver, because if one doesn't pay off, you're more than likely not going to see the dividends in the second.
others, yeah.
Yeah.
Next. Oh, I'll put this one on as well. The Harry Potter series. When's that actually coming out?
I don't know. They announced it that they're looking into it, but they haven't
They
cast
haven't given
anything.
for it.
They haven't cast anything. They haven't. So I think it's still in the early phases. We're probably about a year and a half away, I reckon.
Because I was looking forward to like, 'cause I love Harry Potter, obviously, but
I'm interested to see like what they do with a series, but I think
because the story's going to be exactly the same, right? Harry Potter and him
well, like
versus
following the
like, Voldemort.
yeah, like following the books. I think a series allows you a bit more time with the characters and to include more stuff. There's things from the books that you don't necessarily need in the films.
You read all the books, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't want to, as a fan, like you also kind of want to see those like little detours that they take,
Yeah.
like the snippet about the elves being the cooks in the Hogwarts castle and whatnot. That'd be kind of cool to see and what, but
I think you're right. I think the series, you can do a lot more with the series.
but
And-
they haven't like, I don't think they've got scripts written or they've cast it yet. So
I haven't.
well, I haven't heard anything. I think they just announced it recently that they're sort of gearing up in that down that way, but I reckon we're probably about a year and a half away.
A bit annoying. But yeah, that's one series I really want to see. And moving on to the state of Hollywood. Let's start with like cinema versus streaming.
Okay.
What is because there's a lot of streaming services nowadays. You've got Prime, you've got Netflix, you've got Rakuten, you've got loads of different avenues.
Yeah.
Does it pay off to go down the cinema route to do a massive PR run, promote the movie, do all these press runs and things like that to push everyone to go to the cinema? Like, I think cinema's probably dying as it is anyway. like going to the cinema and watching a film.
Well, I think it's becoming trickier, but yeah.
Trickier, and cost of living's gone up. People aren't going out as much as they used to, probably. And are people really that excited about films coming out from Hollywood? Because it seems to be following a certain formula that
Yeah,
that one set of people like.
I think there's, from Hollywood's perspective, they're sort of very risk averse, or they try to limit the amount of risk, which I can understand to a degree, but they don't see what makes something popular or successful. They just see it in very broad terms. Comic book, let's make a comic book film, and then they come out with crap like Morbius.
Yeah.
You need to make a good film. You make a good film, people will go to the cinema.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have like a huge budget, you don't have to like spend 200 million on a film. There's so many good films out there that have been made for like 30, 40 million. They're smaller in scale perhaps, or they're just really like good with their money.
We say 30, 40, by the way, but that's still a lot of money.
No, but I'm just saying, like, compared to now, they're making films for like 150, 200 million. I think Avatar costs like over 200 million, closer to 300 million. So if you're going to spend crazy numbers on making one film, then you need crazy numbers at the theatrical release to like hit even. So I would start to focus on better quality films. Try to look at smaller budget films, but focus on the quality. It doesn't have to be, a huge CGI event, or buildings or worlds like falling apart. You can have high stakes with characters, going through turmoil. I think if you focus on the quality, even if you don't have like a massive PR push, because I think sometimes they spend crazy amount of money on marketing as well.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know.
I think you've got, like, especially in the world of social media, you can use that to your advantage without having to spend loads of money on it. You can,
if it's like a massive film, I get it, or build up to a massive film or something like that, like a Avengers Infinity War or something like that, then I get it, because that just drives everyone.
But at the same time, like, it has to be, I don't think the next Avengers hits 2 billion.
No. Because
like the quality that they've put out up until now has not been good.
If we're going by recent TV season films now.
So I think if you focus on the quality of the film itself, and even if you don't have that massive marketing push, word of mouth tends to be pretty strong as well. And those people that are half like, shall I go to the cinema or not, or like sitting on the fence, they may be pushed to go. But I think theatrical release is important for films. I think it enhances a film's reputation, especially if it's good, and you have more value for it when it does eventually hit streaming. But I think the issue is you've got all these different streaming platforms, and they all have different ideas about theatrical versus streaming. So Netflix, I know they've given some theatrical releases to certain films. The Irishman, what was the other one they did with Glass Onion?
The
Knives Out one. But I think they give them like a 2-week window. And I think the biggest mistake is saying we're putting it in cinemas for just 2 weeks. Well, if that's me, I've already got a subscription to Netflix. Why
are you going to pay that money?
Yeah, why would I pay that money when I know, even if it doesn't hit Netflix after 2 weeks, I know it's going to hit like within a month or 6 weeks, because Netflix aren't going to keep it off the shelf for 6 months and then add it. So I think they need, if you're going to put something in cinemas, commit to a proper theatrical window, and don't announce or don't get consumers in the habit of knowing that this film will hit streaming within 6 weeks. Because all you're doing is, those people that are sitting on the fence, they're just going to turn around and be like, why should I spend 10, 15, even 20 quid on a cinema ticket, depending on which cinema you go to, when I can just wait 6 weeks and get it for, or included in my subscription
in your
package.
subscription, yeah. Which is what, under £10.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing they do is they don't cast films correctly. So
As in the people they get.
yeah, and you
Oh,
just
yeah.
feel like there's a good premise there for a film, but you've skimped out on the actor, or you've chosen like a TikTok or an Instagrammer just because they've got loads of views, loads of followers. So you expect that following to hit
To
cinemas,
follow them, yeah.
and I don't think it necessarily works like that.
I think that's what they don't get. The people that follow these people, they're following them for a certain reason. And if they branch out doing something else, that doesn't necessarily mean they'll go with them. Unless they're like hardcore fans, which
Yeah, but
no one really
like,
is.
even if you've got, let's say, 100 million followers, right? Out of that 100 million, how many are going to be hardcore followers?
That's what I'm saying. Like the majority
Yeah.
won't be hardcore followers, and they won't.
I also think like you've got things like I don't know what the situation is now post COVID, but in the beginning they were like, let's get this actor in, and admittedly they're a good actor, let's give them 50 million for a film, and it's like, you're blowing 50 million on just one person's salary. You have to pay like X amount of people, and if it's a big film, you're going to have extras, you're going to have other cast members. You're already putting yourself on the back foot. Make smarter decisions in terms of business, while still keeping an eye on story and character, and focus on the quality of the film. Focus on, don't skimp out on, CGI, because I think that's one of the biggest issues I've got with Marvel at the minute.
CGI is terrible.
It's horrendous, and the fact that the quality of the films in terms of story and characters is a little bit less, and then you compile that with like bad CGI, especially when you've come from phase 1, 2, 3, which have been like really high standards.
Yeah, when you compare,
You feel a bit shortchanged.
when you compare all these Avengers 1, 2, 3 to what they're putting She-Hulk. If you compare it with She-Hulk, my God, like there's like, it's just the difference is so vast. From
I don't think I finished that. It was terrible.
I finished it.
What the hell was that program? And that's not me like hating on women, because I feel my favorite character in the MCU is actually Wanda. I feel like her growth from her first appearance in Age of Ultron to her final one, or yet in Doctor Strange. I love her journey, and I love Elizabeth Olsen and how she portrayed her. I love what she's done with the character. But She-Hulk was just an absolute mess, just terrible. And like the fact that anyone thought that was a good idea, like when you're looking at the script and going, yeah, let's do this.
Let's do this. Yeah.
You just question like, what the hell were you thinking? What were you smoking at the time?
Well, since we're on the topic of Marvel, let's talk Marvel. Let's start off with your favorite film and franchise within the MCU.
Favorite film or franchise?
We'll go favorite film and then franchise.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with a couple. I'm gonna say I like Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier is good, yeah.
Because I think that was a real turning point in the MCU. What they ended up doing with that film and the character, and what they ended up doing post that, was markedly different prior to that. I like the Avengers films. I think 3 and 4, Infinity War and Endgame, were really good. I think the stakes obviously were exceptionally high, and there was real loss to it as well. Like if they bring back RDJ, Iron Man,
yeah, this is gonna ruin it.
it ruins it.
Yeah.
If they bring back that, I think that's one of the issues that Black Widow also had, is the fact that you bought that film out way too late.
Yeah.
That should have come out prior to Endgame. But yeah, I like the fact that she sacrificed herself.
I think that when I went to watch the Infinity War film in the cinema, I think that was the one film where, you know how people really love the cinema experience and they're like, oh, you could feel like, that was the one film where I thought, yeah, like this film is like big. And when I was in this one, I was like, and you know
What
the
about
end.
No Way Home?
Nah, I didn't
What?
feel it with that.
People were like cheering and
Oh, what? No
crying.
Way Home? Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were. We said the first. I was like, what?
No.
Yeah, that and Infinity War were the two like big films where it was
They were like movie events.
events. Yeah, because
Rather than
Infinity
just-
War at the end, everyone just went silent, and then
Like you're just taking it in.
you
for
just
like,
everyone's just like,
oh
is everyone
crap!
seeing
What did I
this?
just see?
Yeah. But yeah, that I'd say Infinity War, Civil War, Winter Soldier was good. Black Panther. There's a lot of good films in there.
Yeah. So I was gonna say also that in terms of Black Panther, I really liked what they did with Killmonger.
Yeah.
I liked the angle that they had in terms of that racial discrimination that he had growing up, and that that need for sort of vengeance of some sort. It might have been misguided in his approach, but you can understand like where it came from. But I do have an issue again with the CGI on the rhinos was terrible. It was bad.
Yeah, but compared to other things.
But I liked everything else about it. Like I loved the chemistry between the brother and sister T'Challa and Shuri.
Yeah.
I loved the strength of the mum going through the loss of her husband and then her son at one point, and remaining strong, trying to march forward. I liked Nakia.
Yeah.
But I feel like they underutilized her going
I don't
forward.
think they used her. Yeah, I don't think they used her that well going forward.
I
think
felt like she should have had a
role.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'd say probably my first film was Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Then I'd probably say Infinity War, Endgame, and then post that probably No Way Home. Those are probably like my top MCU films.
Top MCUs. It's a good list. There's a lot to choose. When you look back, there's a lot to choose from those films. Even Iron Man 1 was like, I really liked it.
I do like it, and I think when I first watched it, I loved it a lot more. But I think when you rewatch it, especially compared to what happens afterwards, that I think the standard of filming, you can tell that there's a little bit of hecticness going on behind the scenes, because I think it does translate a little bit onto the screen. But where the character ended up going and the quality of the films afterwards, I think they kept raising the bar.
Yeah.
So I do like Iron Man, and if that hadn't have been a success, then would the MCU have?
Well, him and Chris Evans were the MCU pretty much.
Yeah, but as in like, if that film hadn't been a success, would the MCU
others,
be here right now?
Yeah.
So I understand the importance of it, and I'm not saying it's a bad film or anything, but I think there are better films.
Who's your favorite character, and who do you think? Well, we'll do this for each other, but who do you think we are as?
Well, favorite character I said was Wanda.
Is it actually Wanda? Out of all of them?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, I loved the fact that she's gone through a lot.
Yeah.
I love the fact that she's come out the other side, and all you felt like she'd come out the other side.
But yeah,
and then she got dragged back down again.
Yeah. Actually, her character was actually really good.
I really like that dynamic between her and Vision, especially in Infinity War.
Yeah.
And you feel that like sense of loss. I wasn't a huge fan of WandaVision as much as other people. Like the first 3 or 4.
That was slow to start with. I'll give you that, because
I just felt like it was a gimmick.
Yeah.
Like I don't like. Yeah,
I really
nice
like the
to
series,
see.
but it did take a while to get going.
Yeah, it was nice to like see, but I'm wasting time here. Like, just get to the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like the moment where she says bye to the Vision that she's created, where she says bye to her kids, like just
Yeah.
and then obviously that followed through in Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. So yeah, I'd say my favorite character is probably Wanda.
Who do you think you're most like?
Peter Parker.
I can see that, to be fair.
Yeah, like a bit haphazard sometimes.
Yeah.
Probably underprepared or naive to the situation at times.
It's quite smart.
Yeah, but not always like the smartest in the room. Yeah, I'd say I'm probably most like him.
I do like Spider-Man as a character. I think he has a lot of story behind him.
I'm not talking Spider-Man. I'm talking Peter Parker.
Oh, you're just going Peter Parker?
Yeah, I'm nothing like Spider-Man.
What about
I ain't running into danger, bro.
what about hero type then?
Hero.
Rocket. For many reasons.
Rocket. Actually, yeah, you are Rocket. Yeah, you are.
So you know that bit in Guardians of the Galaxy where he says, "You're making me beat up grass."
Yeah, that's you.
That's me
That's
in a
you.
nutshell.
Oh, when you're angry, it's just
Just get so frustrated, but not that I've beaten up grass, but I'm just saying like that's how I feel inside.
he's a funny character though as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Good humour in the Guardians films.
What about you?
I don't actually know. Most like me. What would you say?
I'd say, for multiple of reasons,
I know
Groot.
what to say. Yeah, I'll go. Okay.
because you don't say much.
I would have gone Bucky. Because he don't say much. What, Bucky?
I said Bucky, yeah.
Yeah.
But I was gonna also say that, a bit like Sam in that you're loyal and like you're dependable.
Falcon.
Yeah, you can be depended upon. And who was the third one I was thinking of? It's gone from my mind. But yeah, I was gonna say that, like a mix.
You could be strange as well, actually.
What?
I could see a little bit of strange in you.
Why?
A little bit. Because he's that very... He's very direct. Or like pre-thingy, he was very direct.
He was
What do you
arrogant.
say?
I'm not arrogant.
He was,
He was arrogant.
he,
He was arrogant.
no, but I'm not saying the arrogant side of it anyway. But he's direct in what he was saying. You're quite very like blunt on what you say. I'm not talking about arrogant side. I'm talking about like how he is.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
What TV series was your favourite?
Of
Did
the
you watch
MCU?
all of them? You didn't finish She.
I didn't finish She-Hulk. I have not seen.
Watch Moon Knight. Done Loki.
What was the latest one? Loki.
Loki
I
was
watched
really, season 2 was really good.
I like the impact of it,
Yeah,
but
I think if you watch Loki season 2, you'll be like, okay, this is like.
yeah, I watched season 2. I think
When
like
did you watch it?
a while ago.
When it came out?
Yeah, I think they done like a special promotion for $1.99 for a month. So I was like, yeah, definitely.
Sign me up. Yeah.
I like I said, I think I like the impact of it more, in that how he's now like firmly embedded in the MCU and his role in there. I think the storyline getting to that point was a little bit
Back and forth. And like,
back and yeah, like
a maze kind of thing.
even the what's his name, Victor.
What, Jonathan Majors?
Yeah, what's his character name? Victor
His name,
something.
Victor. Not Victor Crumb.
the Kang variant
Yeah,
basically.
scientist guy. Yeah.
I could have just done without him, to be honest. He wasn't really that integral to the storyline.
I hope they keep Kang as a thing. Maybe not Jonathan Majors, obviously, but like.
I think they should just recast him. I don't
just
understand.
recast him. Yeah,
I don't see the big deal in like,
just changing the
yeah, like you've committed to this. Like we might as well go through it. I don't see why you would, because effectively you're just chucking out 3 or 4 films that have been tied to.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's going to mess up your whole trajectory of where you're going.
Mm.
And they've done it with War Machine, Don Cheadle
Yeah,
and Terrence Howard.
Well, I think someone reportedly got a bit too greedy, and they were like, "No, see you later, bye." So that's why Don Cheadle came in. But obviously, in this thingy, you can understand why they wouldn't want to keep him.
Yeah,
But I don't see why they're considering dropping the whole arc of Kang. I want them to do a good job of it. I don't want them to be. I don't think they've done Kang justice. Even in Ant-Man and
Yeah, they've done him.
Quantumania.
Yeah. He's meant to. Ant-Man should have died in that film, I think. They should have made the stakes higher in that film, because then it will show the impact of how big and bad this Kang the Conqueror must be. Because they done it with Thanos. Like you could feel the impact of him, like
what, dying?
not him dying, as in like
Oh, when he killed like
yeah,
people.
like just
Yeah.
half
I think
the population. Like.
there's a lot wrong with that film, but like the character of Kang himself, I like the first 5 or 10 minutes of that film where you see, is it Janet Van Dyne,
The mum.
Hope's mum? Yeah.
Yeah.
She's stranded. Then she sees like something
Yeah.
fall out the sky, and what's going on here. So I like the intro to that film, but I think once the film actually got going, it was a bit like, yeah. But back to the question, I think Miss Marvel for me was probably my favorite series. Really enjoyed it. I think it was cast perfectly. I'd like to see more of it. I haven't seen the Marvels.
I think it's out now. Actually, might be.
What, on Disney Plus?
I think so. On digital. One of them.
Well, once it hits Disney Plus, then I'll get to it at some point. But I wouldn't. It wasn't a film that made me want to go to the cinema, especially after hearing some of the reviews. I thought I'll just wait till it hits streaming.
I went to cinema watch it. I thought it was actually really good. That was since
Really good or good?
I thought it was good, because my perception of good for Marvel
Good
has
or
gone,
okay? Because we're bringing it down.
No, my perception of Marvel's gone down now from what I've.
Right.
So when I say really good, I mean like compared to the other films we've been seeing and things like that. But it was a good story. I think the characters' connection was good, and their like on-screen chemistry was good as well.
Do you feel like it was a film that was integral to the overall storyline of Phase 4 or 5, whatever one we're in? It was like a standalone.
I think it could have been a standalone, but they're just trying to include as many characters now, aren't they? Like, as in trying to introduce new Avengers and things like that going forward. There was an end bit that was actually quite good. I won't spoil it, but it had they do something with Miss Marvel basically, but it was good. I thought it was a good film.
Young Avengers? Yeah, probably guessed it. That's been out on the internet forever.
Oh, is it? No.
Yeah.
But no, it was good. Good film.
I want them to pick up I want them to be good, like back to where they used to be. And I'm really hoping like Deadpool 3 like puts them back on track. Yeah.
I think it will. The first two were good.
I think if you tell the storyline of what they're trying to do, it sounds like a really interesting premise, the multiverse and all that jazz. But I think in terms of pulling it off cinematically is quite tricky.
Yeah.
And I think you are asking for a lot of good grace with people in terms of, because it can get confusing, like variants and timelines and blah blah blah. But if the quality of the films had been better, I think people would be more susceptible to giving it a rewatch in order to understand it a bit better. But I think they've not really quite hit the mark,
They've
and
not,
people
yeah.
are a bit like,
Definitely not.
that's right.
It's alright. I think that is all we have time for anyway.
Is that it?
I can give you 5 more minutes.
Anything else you want to touch upon while we're here? Yeah,
It's up to you.
I think we're good. Thank you for joining us on this first episode of Afternoons with me, Uzi, and my brother MJ. He'll be back for more episodes, I'm sure.
I'm not being paid for this. So, if it is good, can you guys get him to pay me?
This guy always wants money. But anyways, yeah, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.